boys and girls, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and we are jumping into the review of Marvel Studios Disney Plus Secret Invasion, Episode 4, entitled Beloved. How are we doing, everybody? This, of course, is the fourth review of Secret Invasion. Duh, it is the fourth episode, but it's the first time that I feel a little negative. I've enjoyed the first three episodes, uh, for what they were. They weren't the greatest piece of television, but I was enjoying the storytelling. And it didn't have much action, had a little bit, but it was a spy thriller, a little espionage type thriller type show. And I wasn't expecting a lot of action. And so I didn't get it, so it didn't bother me. Now, this episode, Beloved, had nothing but action, and I just did not. I couldn't get on. I couldn't get with it. I couldn't get with it, and this was probably the most poorly directed episode thus far. And it's weird to say that because Ali Shalom directed all the episodes, and so the first three that I enjoyed, he directed, and this one here, I didn't enjoy. It was just poorly directed. And the dialogue in this episode was bad. I know I'm coming in hot. I know I'm coming in just berating this episode, but it just didn't work. And the sad part is we're 4 episodes in. There's only 6 episodes to this series. So there's only 2 more episodes remaining, and we've gotten, I think, more questions than answers. And then the questions that remain unanswered, I don't think you can answer in 2 episodes. Now, do they have to answer every waking question? No, they don't. They really don't. There are more MCU properties that you can let this spill over into. Most notably, we have The Marvels, which is coming out in November. And we know that Nick Fury is going to be in that movie because we saw it in the trailer. So, and he's on Saber. So we know that there's some type of conclusion to this particular story. And we do know that Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, has dealt with the Skrulls in the past. So there's a connection there. So maybe we're going to get more of this particular story in the Marvels. I don't know. I don't know. And if it does do that, that's fine. I'm fine with that. But it was just poorly executed this episode. That's the thing. And like I said, episode 1, 2, and 3, I enjoyed for the most part. This episode, to go along with, I felt, the bad direction and the bad screenplay here. This was the shortest episode thus far. This episode was 35 minutes, maybe 38 minutes with credits, but it was a short one. And 15 of those minutes was the long action sequence at the end of the film, the shootout. And so wasn't a lot of story being told here, but that just adds to the point of, well, I'm gonna get to it. But the fourth episode, entitled Beloved, begins immediately after the events of episode 3, where we saw Talos' daughter, Gaia, who is played by Emily Clark, attempt to escape the rebel Skrulls compound only to be stopped by Gravik, who shot her, after, he already knew that she was feeding information to Nick Fury and her father. He finally had enough, I guess, and he shot her in the chest, and the episode left her death kind of ambiguous. But we didn't wait long. We didn't have to wait long. As soon as the episode started, episode 4, that is, Gaia gunshot wound begins to heal by the extremists. Reason being, they showed the flashback of her before she ran out of the compound. She went into the machine and gained that particular power. And so she was able to heal herself with the extremist strain, uh, essentially making her a super scroll. Um, this makes Gaia only the second super scroll in this show. After Gravik, we know that he has it, and he showed a little bit more of it later on in that epic shootout. Now we move on to another cliffhanger that was left over from last episode. Priscilla, who is Nick Fury's wife, who is also a scroll. We found out at the end of the episode that she's working with somebody. And so, who is she working with? It sounded a lot like Don Cheadle on the phone with her, and it was confirmed. Yes, it was Don Cheadle, and it's also confirming that yes, Don Cheadle, aka Rhodey, is a scroll, and he's ordering Priscilla to kill Nick Fury. Unbeknownst to them both, Nick Fury had planted a bug on Priscilla, and he hears the whole conversation. All right, cool. Cool. And so they have a back and forth at the house where Nick Fury is getting information from her. And I think that was probably the best scene in this episode. That was a really good scene. The back and forth between Samuel L. Jackson and, oh Lord, what's her name? I can't think of her name. Well, the actress who plays Priscilla. I think that was a really good scene. I enjoyed that. After that, it went downhill for me. I mean, you had the encounter between Don Cheadle and I keep saying his real name, but Rhodey and Nick Fury. That was an all right scene, but it wasn't. It didn't have much of an impact on me, because he pretty much just spilled out that he's a scroll without saying he's a scroll, and nothing was left to the imagination. I'll say that much. And these are two accomplished actors. That's why I say it has to be poorly written, this episode, because these guys can act, and they've shown it on this very show, in episode 2, I believe. So it's not like they can't act, and these screenwriters can't write. I don't know what happened here. I honestly don't know what happened in this episode. And so we get to the shootout at the end, which involves the president, and Rhodey has pretty much lured him into a trap, and the president's convoy is attacked. And I mean, it was epic. Now that was cool, and this is where the direction goes bad for me. This is where I was like, oh man, I don't think old boy is. He has a keen eye for action, because it was a lot of. I didn't know where everybody was at. It was on. Nothing was established as far as where the bad guys were, where the good guys were, where the president was, and it was just the scale of it didn't work. It just didn't work. That action sequence was bad. It was just bad, and it honestly took me out of the show. It took me completely out of it. Now, during this battle or fight or shootout, however you want to label it, we had 2 reveals. We had the reveal. We already knew that Gravik was a super scroll, and he had the extremist powers, but it was revealed in this little battle here that he also has the power of Groot. He branched his arm off as the same way Groot did, and snatched one of the soldiers protecting the president. And that was interesting, but it was just for that. You have these powers. You see him taking cover behind cars and all this other, and then all of a sudden he just comes from behind the car. He's getting shot, and he's just shooing bullets away like they were flies at a barbecue or something, and does the little Groot arm reach out thing to one of the president's protection, and kills him, and we don't see him use it no more. It was like, what was the point of doing this display? And you went back to taking cover. He went into cover again after that. That's why Sitting there like, what was the point of that? So the second big reveal, we see that Talos gets shot. He gets shot in the chest while trying to break the bulletproof glass that the president was in, the car that the president was in. He was knocked out from the explosion. So they're trying to get to him. The only one who can get to him is Talos. He's the strongest one. And so he's trying to break the glass and he gets shot in the chest. All right. But he still has the strength. He's still trying to get through. Now, that was powerful. I was on board there. I kind of sat up in my seat. You know, he was able to get it open. He's turning half scroll just to indicate like he's half dead, you know. And he gets it open. Fury is able to get the president out. One of the soldiers comes and helps up Talos. And Nick Fury turns around and says, puts him down. Put him down now. And then the soldier morphs into Gravik. And Gravik stabs Talos in the chest and leaves him there. And Talos is presumed dead. And Gravik gets away. Just hops on the motorcycle and gets away while everybody's still shooting around in this little fight. It was just bad direction. It was so poorly directed, this little action sequence. I mean, poorly. It's borderline embarrassing, to be honest with you. And that was the end of the episode. And so this is my problem. We already had the death of Maria Hill. We had the fake out death of Gaia just last week. And now we have the presumed death of Talos. I don't know. The reason I don't know, because I'm not 100% sure that Talos is dead. And if they fake out death with Talos, I will borderline stop watching the show, because at this point, what are the stakes? If nobody is going to actually die, and the only one we know of for certain right now is Maria Hill, and that's not 100% certain, to be honest with you. But I just feel there's no stakes at this point, and that's what upset me. And if Talos is truly dead, I think it was a misstep. I think they messed up with the death of Talos, because he didn't have an arc. He didn't reconcile with his daughter. They did have a conversation earlier in the episode, but I mean, nothing was established there. Nothing was resolved there. Him and Fury, nothing there. And I think he deserves an arc, even if that arc results in his untimely demise, which happens in film and television all the time. I would accept it, you know. But now it's just he was just a body. He was just he's just somebody who was on the show, and I think that character deserves a better death than this. I was really upset. I was upset by that. Maybe I would have accepted it more had everything played out a little better throughout the episode. This was just a bad episode. This was like one of those bad days at the office type deals. You know, the first three were decent. This one was way out in left field. As I said, I'm not grading episode by episode. I'm gonna wait till after episode 6 to grade this show as a whole. But if I was, this would be close to an F. It would probably be D- area. But it was that disappointing for me. That disappointing. If I wasn't dedicated to the end, I probably would stop watching. I probably would stop watching. Just like, man, this ain't going nowhere. I don't know. This episode just didn't work for me. I don't know why, but who knows? Maybe these next 2 episodes can redeem it. We shall see. But I would like to know what you thought of this episode, Secret Invasion episode 4, entitled Beloved. let me know by emailing the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also look me up on Twitter at KB Radio Network and on other social media platforms. Just look up the KB Radio Network. Don't forget that we're on YouTube as well. Go to the KB Radio Network YouTube channel, subscribe, and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you may be listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everyone, thank you for joining me for this review of Secret Invasion Episode 4. Can't wait to speak to you next week. Hopefully, it'll be better. Hopefully, we'll get a better episode in Episode 5. We shall see. Want you all to know that I love you. Continue to love one another. And until we speak again, you all be blessed.